And we begin at 5 with a potential strike at one of our area's largest hospitals. 1,600 nurses could soon walk off the job at Providence St. Vincent. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. The nurses have voted to authorize a strike. Brian Clerkley spoke with them today about their reasons for wanting to strike. He also spoke to the hospital's chief executive officer. Not surprisingly, Brian, they have differing perspectives.
And we'll get to the hospital's perspective in a minute, Laurel, but the nurse says under current staffing, that's led to some safety issues, and they need better insurance and pay raises as well.
The emergency department at St. Vincent's alone has lost over 50 nurses in 2 years, and they're currently being staffed with over 30 travelers.
Melinda Chacon has been a nurse at St. Vincent's for the last several years. She says after over 36 bargaining meetings in the last 5 months with Providence St. Vincent, the nurses have voted for the union to authorize a strike. They'll have to give 10 days notice before the strike. Chacon says one of the most important issues is staffing.
If you put me as a baby nurse in an adult unit, I will tell you that I have not cared for an adult in over a decade. I don't know what that looks like. I can do my best to help, but it is not going to be the quality of care that you should be getting as a patient. So that's what we're saying.
Chacon also says St. Vincent nurses were offered a 9.5% pay raise, which she says isn't enough.
We've all seen what the housing prices have been in the Portland area. So living expenses and inflation.
Chacon believes nurses need better medical insurance as well. Providence St. Vincent says the hospital has tried to negotiate with the union to deliver comprehensive pay and benefits, but accuses the union of delaying additional dates for discussions. Chief Executive Jennifer Burrows says this.
We remain committed to working at the table together to resolve where there's places of differences. We continue to ask and continue to strongly encourage ONA to consider a federal mediator.
Chacon says she hopes it does not come down to a strike.
So it's a sacrifice by every nurse that voted in support of making it happen, but it's also a sacrifice that the community will have to make in it for a temporary amount of time.
Melinda says there are a couple more bargaining dates this month, so hopefully the situation can get solved without a strike. Providence St. Vincent went on to say if there is a strike, they are working on a plan to ensure that services will not be interrupted. Laurel?
Well, I know you'll stay on top of this, Brian, and keep us updated. Thank you. An update today surrounding a shooting from last night near Grand Avenue and MLK Boulevard. Just after 8:30, a woman was injured and taken to the hospital. We have learned she's an Airbnb host, and the shooting suspect was a guest staying in a room. Police say he shot her through a door. He has been arrested. The woman's injuries are serious, but she's expected to survive. Police say she was trying to speak with the guest when he shot her.
Well, to an unsettling story and another attack on a place of worship in our area. This time a person recorded on surveillance video setting fire to Portland's Muslim Community Center. You see it there, and the suspected arsonist's actions even more brazen since it was still light out and people were praying, I should say, inside there. Mike Benner joins us now in North Portland with new details. And Mike, we just found out that same suspect is also wanted for an attack on a synagogue.
Yeah, David, good evening to you. We learned that new information about 30 minutes ago. We, of course, knew about the attack here at the Muslim Community Center of Portland, but this new attack you mentioned happened about 4 miles away at Northeast 24th and Sandy. The suspect accused of breaking a large window at a synagogue. This happened April 30th around 10:30 at night. Then just days later, the suspect showed up at the Muslim Community Center of Portland. The video we're going to show you is from 6:45 Tuesday night. Police say the suspect poured some type of accelerant on the back of the Muslim Community Center, then lit that substance on fire. The building on North Vancouver Avenue did not go up in flames, so the suspect tried again. And aside from some minor damage, that attempt was unsuccessful as well. People associated with the MCC are relieved their building is still standing, but they cannot get over the fact that someone tried torching the building with people inside.
It's very hurtful. And to think that someone has that much hate in their heart, that they would do this to a community that is longstanding in the Portland metropolitan area while there were individuals from the congregation praying is just very sad.
This incident most likely is generating fear in our community, specifically with our Muslim community members. I wanted to come out and try and connect with the imam and make sure that they know that we 100% support them.
All right, it is worth mentioning that Crime Stoppers of Oregon is offering a cash reward of up to $2,500 for information that leads to an arrest of the person who tried torching this building and broke the window at that East Side synagogue. Also worth mentioning, we know of an attack at a synagogue in Northwest Portland earlier this week as well, and at this point, police do not believe the suspects are the same. If we learn any new information, we'll of course pass it along. For now, Laurel, I'll send it back to you.
Well, let's hope they catch the person responsible. Thank you, Mike. A U.S. cabinet secretary came to Portland today to talk about our mental health crisis and how the federal government can do more to help. Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra visited Lines for Life, which is dedicated to preventing substance abuse and suicide. Tim Gordon is in Southwest Portland, and Tim, the governor was there too.
Yeah, that's right, Laurel. Governor Kate Brown was here. So were some Oregon members of Congress. We had Schrader, Blumenauer, and Bonamici. All had something to say, but they did more listening to people on the front lines. The U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services gets a warm welcome.
We appreciate your being here for us to be able to deal with some of the folks who here are on the front lines.
And really appreciate your personal passion and dedication to tackling the issue of behavioral health services for all Americans, but particularly for our children.
Beyond top elected leaders, this roundtable at Lines for Life included healthcare leaders, educators, and advocates, all talking about increasing needs and not nearly enough resources for behavioral health care for kids and adults. Becerra brought a message of hope in big dollars, touting President Biden's plan to put an additional $52 billion toward behavioral health over the next 10 years if it gets through Congress.
So I urge you to just recognize that for the first time, we've got the person who can lead us on this at the national level say, I'm there. I'm there. And that's critical, because if we let that drop, who knows when we have another chance to do it.
These have been tough times with the last 2 years of pandemic, especially hard for young people who spent a lot of time out of school and isolated.
The population of this country, the population of this state has been on constant duress. That anxiety has taken a toll not only on youth and families, but it's taken a toll on all of us.
They need us to advocate for them, and if we join together, we can provide the life-saving supports.
Hearing from some of that life-saving support was part of the HHS Secretary's visit, meeting with teenagers.
And we also talk a lot about just mental health awareness, and it's really helpful for people to be able to hear that from other teenagers.
Who are volunteers with Lines for Life's Youth Line, a peer-to-peer mental health crisis line for suicide prevention, which serves youth in Oregon and beyond, proven successful and growing. I asked Becerra as he was about to leave what was his strongest impression from the visit. It was these kids.
Probably that we've got peers that are doing a great job helping a lot of these young folks who are probably the shyest and least likely to come forward quickly. And I think that's got to give you some sense of promise that this will be done well, so long as we invest.
Another important topic today was the national launch of the 988 Suicide Prevention Crisis Line. That's set to happen in mid-July, and Oregon has been a test site for that. It's gone well, and now it's all systems go coming up, and Lines for Life is the epicenter of 988. It will be coming up in Oregon. Now back to you.
Tim Gordon in Southwest Portland. Thank you, Tim. Let's get to new information now on a potential I-5 replacement bridge over the Columbia River. The team in charge of the configuration is officially recommending an 8-lane crossing, not 10, which was another option. So this includes one set of auxiliary lanes, not two. Those are ramp-to-ramp connections that give drivers more time to merge. The recommendations also call for a scaled-back interchange at Hayden Island. Instead of being able to enter and exit the freeway from both directions, there will only be ramps that serve the Washington side, and that is based on a desire, the team says, to minimize the impact for Hayden Island residents.